up, my ducks? It's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. It's a proper dark and dismal day today, so it's lovely to be able to come here, light my candles. Do need to light some incense though. It really, for me, especially in the darker months, the darker part of the year, it's really quite comforting lighting candles and incense, and especially when the days are darker. So I'll light some incense. So if you saw my video yesterday where I showed the Westwood Tarot, you'll have seen that I was sent 2 decks for review by Red Feather, the guys over at Schiffer, and they sent the Vedic Tarot, East meets West. And I think, because like I say, it was very early on in the year, I was given a catalogue, and the Vedas in particular have always kind of intrigued me. I used to follow the Brahma Kumaris probably about 20 years ago now, 2008, what's that? No, not two, so 16 years ago. And that was kind of loosely an introduction into Hinduism. But Hinduism has always, in fact, you'll probably see, you know, I'm getting ready for Diwali on the 31st. I'm getting out some bits and bobs to put together a little sacred space, which I do for Diwali. But Vedic, how can I put it? It's relating to the Vedas, particularly in the way in which they were written. So, and that's as much as I know. There's no walkthroughs of this. Now, I'm not sure when this is released in other countries, but it's not released here until the end of November, similar to the Westwood Tarot that I showed yesterday. But the Vedas are a huge body of religious text, which originated in ancient India, and they're written in Vedic Sanskrit. And it really is kind of like the very earliest of scriptures relating to Hinduism, certainly what Hinduism kind of came out of. The Vedas, going back thousands of years. One of the oldest kind of religious texts known, if not the oldest religious text known. And that's my very limited knowledge of it. But it intrigued me. I loved the look of the artwork, and I thought, well, we'll have a look at this one. So on the back it says, unlock the fusion of Eastern spirituality and Western tarot wisdom with this masterful creation, years in the making, which offers a tapestry of teachings and transformative insights. I wonder if that years in the making is talking like the 5,000 plus years since the Vedic text, or whether this deck actually took years to make, like some tarot decks do. And then we've got explore, immerse, navigate, delve, explore the tarot's correlation with Vedic Sanskrit, Irish Ogham tree alphabet, that's a combination, and Hebrew, plus musical notes and instruments tied to chakras for deeper holistic awareness. I get the correlation between chakras and Eastern beliefs, philosophy, etc. But Irish Ogham tree alphabet, okay, and Hebrew letters. So immerse yourself in 81 cards inspired by visions of a glorious past, guiding you back to an immortal future and empowering soul transformations. Navigate the powers of the soul with 3 extra cards that include Oogenesis, Abor Vitae, and the Supreme Soul, for fostering a profound journey to enlightenment. So the Supreme Soul is a huge part of Hinduism. Lots of people incorrectly think, oh, you know, Hinduism has thousands of gods. They have deities that replicate or represent, I should say, aspects of the Supreme Soul. That's certainly my understanding. Within the Brahma Kumaris, you concentrate on your soul, which they say resides where the third eye chakra is. And that's why lots of Hindus will have the little bindi dot on their forehead to represent that's where the soul is residing. And then you connect that soul through meditation, Raj yoga meditation, to the Supreme Soul. And I've got a few depictions around my apartment of the Supreme Soul, quite beautiful ones that I bought when I was studying with the Brahma Kumaris. And it's the Supreme Soul, it's the source. All souls on earth come from the Supreme Soul and will return to the Supreme Soul. So I get that. And then it says, delve into the in-depth card meanings, learning the relationship between the ancient alphabets and unveil universal connections among archetypes and the energies of the 5 elements. My only concern, and it's not a huge concern, but I sometimes worry that decks try and do too much, try and overlay too many correlations to other systems. So here we've got Vedic Sanskrit, and you would expect that. It is the Vedic Tarot. Irish Ogham tree alphabet, Hebrew musical notes. Then we've got the 3 extra cards, which includes oogenesis. That's the process by which the female body creates eggs, the ovulation. Yeah, I worry, but it doesn't say anywhere, to be fair, it doesn't say anywhere on here that it's recommended for new beginners to tarot. So I will probably, oh, the book's upside down, I will probably use this as part of my study practice, spiritual studies. So, and that's fine, you know, everybody knows what they're buying. Sometimes I've seen tarot decks that say this deck is great for new beginners or, you know, more experienced tarot readers, and really they're not. But this deck doesn't purport to do that. Purport to be that. The system of the tarot and the Vedic mysteries come together in this card deck, bridging the divide between East and West and demonstrating the many parallels between the symbolic and spiritual systems of both cultures. That kind of gives it the context now, looking at things like Irish Ogham, Hebrew alphabet, and then, you know, the Eastern philosophies. What it's saying is actually, it's looking at the East and the West, and then bridging a gap and bringing them together to show the commonalities, the parallels. So we've got that separating of cards business going on. We've got a chunky book, a nice book, a lot of information in here. As I would imagine, I think anybody who studies Eastern philosophies, you have to get used to a lot of reading and a lot of complicated text as well. And as somebody with ADD, I really struggled. I used to prefer to watch vlogs or listen to podcasts or audiobooks because, yeah, I struggle with fiction, let alone. Okay, so we've got lots of acknowledgements. I don't know why I've automatically gone to the back. I think I was looking for the page numbers. So 287 pages. But you can see here, we've got a glossary with the other systems. So Ogham related. So you can see some, we've got Yggdrasil there. Hebrew Kabbalistic glossary. Yeah, so that's all there. We've got here a lot of, oh my gosh, look at all this. Glossary, the Sanskrit Indian glossary. So look at all that. I hope that's not a card spread. Esoteric, So I saw that we've got like the Buddha, the Awakened One, the caste system, chakras, deities. Yeah, so Ganesha. Hey, big up Lord Sri Ganesha. I'm going to give him a bit of a cleaning. He's a bit of a dust off. And then he's going onto my little, I've got to get some rose petals yet, but he's going on to these light up in gold, which are really, really beautiful. I need to, they're very stiff though. Here you go, little gold flames that I'll put in. So, and let's put some incense in there as well. So 1st of November is Diwali, the Festival of Light, which is my favourite. All right, let's take these out. As I said, not a fan of the separation of 2 decks, but that, I get it, because this book, with a lot of information in here, and chunky as it is, doesn't want to be any smaller. So, yeah, I understand it. Okay, so we'll take the bands off. They're very colourful. They kind of remind me a little bit of like the bone fire. Do you get what I mean with that sort of colour? That's the Supreme Soul. I have this. In fact, if I remember, I'll insert a picture now. It's hanging on my bedroom wall, and then I have a gold version, which is on behind my Gaia goddess on my sacred space. But yeah, this is like what the Brahma Kumara is used to sit in front of and meditate. So yeah, it's edged in black, which saves me a job. Love that. Matte black edging, really cool. All right, let's bring the camera down and let's take a closer up look. Okay, so I put the 2 sets together. They're actually, yeah, you can still see where they separate from having them, but once they're shuffled, that tends to settle down. It's a nice thick deck. The cardstock is lovely, really nice. It's a matte cardstock with a silky finish. It's not high gloss. In terms, I think it's shorter but stubbier than a standard tarot deck. Yeah, so a little bit shorter but a little bit wider. Probably Indiana K. No, it's not. It's a little bit bigger than the Indiana K. But yeah, so we have the Supreme Soul here, which I have a large print of that, as I said, on my bedroom wall, and it really does pulsate. Look, it's made to do that actually. And when you're meditating and focusing on the Supreme Soul, it really does do this with your mind. It's quite hypnotic. These are the backs, which are really, really nice. All right, so this is very much a first impressions, because I've not seen any, as I said, any walkthroughs, any of these images. I've just literally brought the camera down, put the 2 piles together, and off we go. So this also is the depiction of the Supreme Soul, just so you're aware. I've got 1 or 2 things with that on. In fact, bear with. I have this on a bookcase in my hall. I've had it for about 15 years. It was on a much bigger piece, but I cut this out and put it in this beautiful ornate picture frame I picked up a number of years ago. As I say, it just sits on my bookcase, but again, this is the Supreme Soul. It's meant to replicate like a fingerprint, and you can see it there in the design as well. So on we go. Let's have a quick sup of coffee before we begin to lubricate the throat. So it says First Traveller, which I love that. It's the source. You can see here Oghams. There's lots of symbolism around the card. You can see the Hebrew alphabet. You can see the Sanskrit. I'd imagine that the book breaks that down in detail. If I go to the first card, hoping that, so it tells you that it's, I'm in the Magus. So it tells you that it's Shiva, okay? Often the Destroyer, actually, Shiva. And then we've got the Soul Power Key Path Regalia. So it describes what's happening in the card. We get the divination text. Then you get the Sanskrit, the Hebrew letter, the Ogham, and then the music. Where is octave C to C? Where's the musical note? Oh, is that it? I'm not a musician, but I'd imagine that that's it. But anyway, everything is in the book, which is great. I love the artwork. I really love it. It's quite muddy. It's quite earthy. I like the strong colours. It is quite a busy image, but again, it appeals to me. I really like it. It looks like as well, oh maybe, I was going to say that it's keeping traditional titles and perhaps having the Sanskrit interpretation at the bottom, which would make it easier for tarot readers who are perhaps picking this up and not used to Eastern kind of philosophies or beliefs. We have the Magus, our magician card, which is beautiful. Again, we can see lots of associations here along the side. So they're not too intrusive, really. The Hebrew letter. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. We have Maga. Look at her. Isn't she beautiful? The Empress. So yeah, so an Emperor. We're keeping a lot of the original titles. There's the Ogham there. Musical notes, F and G. I get it. Okay, I'm with it. I'm with it. The Emperor. And the good thing about this, you know, if we think back to tarot and its origins, particularly as it went into France and Marseille, it doesn't have, hadn't then been influenced by the Golden Dawn and lots of esoteric overlay with Kabbalah and Hebrew alphabet and everything else, astrology. It was very much about the images, you know, and the positions and everything else. So for me, I keep tarot quite simple, but I also enjoy exploring. But I tend to pick and choose what works for me with a deck. So I could use this as a straight up, you know, Emperor, Hierophant, the Lovers. I could pick this up and use it as a deck and just read with it. But if I wanted those extra insights, I can then look them up in the book. So I think it's pretty cool for that. Hierophant, oh, I've got little baby Ganesh here. The Lovers, I wonder if that's Radha Krishna. I need to find out. I'd imagine that our Lovers would be Radha Krishna. Let's have a look. The Lovers. Oh no, it's Lakshmi and Narayan. Okay, that's interesting. Cool. I knew that obviously Ganesha is Shiva and Parvati, the parents of Ganesha. Lovers, the Charioteer for our Chariot card. Is the number still there? Yeah, 7, 6. It's down in the corner here is the number. Arbor Vitae as 8. Oh no, actually 8's there. Oh, this is an additional card. This is 0 to 8. arbor vitae, which basically means the tree-like structure. It's often referred to as the brain as well, you know, that kind of spinal column into the brain, but often a tree-like structure. So that's an additional card if you wanted to use it and include it. Then we have Justice at 8, the Hermit, the Wheel of Karma, love it, Strength is at 11. We have the Hanging Man. I do actually like the inclusion of the Ogham. 13, so the Death card is Changes. Okay, so we have Changes. Temperance. Right, so after Temperance, we have the Oogenesis. Again, 0 to 15. So the grouping almost like suits within the majors. We had 0 to 8 and then 0 to 15. So this isn't the devil. Because I say this is like the cosmic egg, and which makes sense with Oogenesis. Yes, so now we have the devil, which is Diafol here, which is the devil or Satan within Vedic scriptures, but also a demon-like creature who has influence over us mere mortals. The Tower. Oh, it's a beautiful star card. Oh my goodness, just look at the moon. Oh, I love that. That is just so beautiful. They're sitting on the edge of a bank. The water has the reflection from the moon. So it's a Buddha and a hare. Or, you know, it doesn't have to be the Buddha, but it could be somebody who's in meditation, but I do need to look that up. I think that is a stunning image. That is really gorgeous. So, the moon, the 5th stage on path to enlightenment. Does it say? It's important to be aware of the body, but not just to be body conscious. Remember those words. Yeah, I don't think it actually says. It talks about the Silver Age. Yeah, it doesn't say who is in the image, so that's left to interpretation, but it's gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then we have our sun. That could be Radha Krishna. I don't want to keep stopping and going to the book though, because it can become annoying. Judgment and the World. So with the exception of, this is just an extra card, isn't it? With the exception of the 2 cards that kind of sandwich in between the major arcana and group them, it's pretty much a major arcana that, you know, I think anybody could use. So have we got cups, wands, swords and pentacles, shields? Okay, so the only suit that's changed is the coins pentacle suit has become shields, but other than that we have our Ace of Cups, In fact, I'll talk less now and just let you look at the images. That's gorgeous. That is so beautiful. Very much in keeping with RWS, which always surprises me with that they switch, well not switch, they keep the traditional key 8 being justice and key 11 being strength when they follow the RWS so closely with the rest of the deck. But I love this. In some images, it really looks like it's quite a rough sketch, but it really works. And in others, it's more refined, it's more detailed. We have our swords. Oh, look at that. Twin souls there. Cardstock is really good. They're just, none of these are sticking together. This is beautiful. It's all beautiful. I really like it. There's something that really speaks to me about this artwork. It might be because I've got such an appreciation now of, you know, real artists working to create decks rather than, not to go down that route, but, you know, I have an appreciation of artist work now. More so than perhaps before the advent of AI art. Beautiful. So, yeah, that is the Vedic Tarot East meets West. And I should have known right from the off, you know, and I'm like, why is the Irish Ogham on there? East meets West. That's the whole point, you know, is the coming together, the bridging the gap of Eastern traditions, philosophies and beliefs with Western. And it's, the end result is beautiful. This is a stunningly beautiful deck. It's a nice size. It's a nice compact size. I love the fact that it's been edged in black. This is how I edge my decks. So it's done the job for me. This is something to watch out for. When they put bands around the cards, you do get damage every time, particularly with these plastic ones. They damage the cards, as you can see here. So It doesn't look too bad when laid flat, but you can see that, you know, it's cut into the card because it's tightly wrapped around it. That's the only thing. But my decks get pretty beaten up anyway after use. So, but yeah, beautiful, really beautiful artwork. Very vibrant, very colourful. But I can see me working with this well, and yeah, just really enjoying. I love Eastern art anyway. I think it's stunning. And it's quite nice having this as a little throwback. So yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts. As I said, I don't know when it's going to be released in any other country, but it's the 28th of November in the UK. What we're on now, we're on the 12th of October. So a good 6 weeks till this is released over here. But if this is the first time you're seeing this deck as well, let me know your thoughts on the Vedic Tarot. I'd be interested to hear. Or if you are in a country where it might have been released already, like the US perhaps, have you had it long? Have you worked with it? What are your thoughts? All right, thanks for watching everyone, and until next time, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.